right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Steve, if you have a chance to look at the minutes. February 7th, 2023.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second that. Yeah, no cat stories.
Right, I counted 400 cats right here in my house on the way.
Okay.
Crazy appellation guy was out shooting.
That's really good. I thought to make motion for public thing.
Okay, lay it on me.
Okay, Tony has the rest to do. Okay. Let's go first with the workers' compensation renewal. With Eastern Alliance, Bixby Insurance, in the amount of $93,046. Matter of fact, I just got notified today that Eastern Alliance is having that group audited. But we have to get our information. Oh, so is that an annual premium? That's, remember Doug was in here last week, and we were able to discuss this, and about what that is. Very good. Some of this won't be signed, but I'll move you to look at it. We can just look at it here, if you want to, and I'll get it later. So I look for a motion to approve. Workman's comp.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Okay. We have, in order to pay for that, we are moving the commissioner's dollars to the workers' comp fund 4701, $20,000, because that has to cover that, as well as claims and so forth that might come in, I believe. So that's what that is. If Steve wants to start wording of it. And that's also for you. Okay.
Make a motion to move $120,000 to account 12700.000.0068.
Second. Next, we have payroll claims. Those payroll claims will be amount of $362,728.62. And I brought us hint. Somebody else, like, we had a pocket for there. I don't know if we didn't have it last week. I know. They migrate. Is that marketing for
Actually, they're one of my favorite pens. Make a motion to approve the payroll claims, the amount of $362,728.62.
Second. Next, we have the accounts payable claims. I believe Bree emailed that to you earlier, like a couple days ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's in the amount of $367,724.50. Do you have any questions on any of that, or? I went through it, but so the hospital payment was one of those.
Yeah.
Size ones,
But I
but
didn't see anything either.
yeah.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All right. All right. Next, we have the Allied Insurance. I don't know if I signed that.
No, I need your
Mutual health insurance claims.
line.
Yeah. The weekly health insurance claims are in the amount of $9,535.59. Medical was $47,592.39. Pharmacy was $36,638.80. You had stop loss reimbursement of $74,670.60. And another $25 EFT refund. And the total amount is $95,35.59. Make a motion to approve. I'd second that. Okay. And I believe the last thing that I have is the monthly claim. This would be for the March payment for Elaine Shapley Consulting for Health Insurance. That's in the amount of $2,916.67. Okay, that was typical.
Motion approved.
Second.
Tony, can I ask a question real
Yes.
quick before we move on from that? And this is probably for Shannon or Tony or whoever wants to answer. We pay Elaine every month for the work that she does. Help me understand what she does for us, if you don't mind.
Mark might actually be able to answer that too.
And I think that's gonna be a mark question.
Okay.
Mark can probably,
We pay this claim to Elaine Schlafly every month. And I said, help me understand what she does for us.
Helps us with our plan design, helps us get our stop loss insurance renewal.
So she works basically once a year, but we pay her every month.
Well, it's throughout the year that gathers, claims data, helps us with the actuary report and get our actuary numbers, and then look at our claim data to help us design our renewal. So we start that usually in June, July. I mean, I think she just bills us monthly, so it's a service contract that she bills monthly.
So if we were looking to rebid our health insurance in a more aggressive fashion for 2024, we might use her, we might use somebody else to help us think about options.
Perhaps, yeah. Yep.
We pay her every month, and I don't see activity every month. That's the reason for my question.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, it's an annual contract for services that she provides as plan manager, but it's billed monthly. So I suppose you could pay it once a year. But the main value that I see really is, what we do with stop loss. And that's because the stop loss is, I think, about what was it, $600,000-700,000 premium. And Shannon and I sat down last week, and we want to take a look at exactly what our monthly administrative fees are for the plan. 80 to 90% of your cost is claims, or 85%. Stop loss is a huge component. So anyway, we just need to sit down and look at all the cost components of the health plan. The plan manager cost is one of the relatively lower cost overall of the plan, because the plan cost is about $3.4 million a year. And you've got about 2.7 in claims, 600,000 or more in stop loss premiums. You've got TPA fees, so the TPA is administering the plan or is paying all the claims, and your plan manager fees is really kind of the one organizing it all. The plan manager fees are small relative to the overall cost. So the question is, do you need the plan manager? What does the plan manager bring to the table? All of that stuff we need to look at. If you go out and have a broker provide a self-funded plan to you, there's going to be broker fees. And then some of those are buried into the stop loss, stop loss reimbursements, kickbacks. I mean, there's fees built into all of this stuff. And the question is, where are they? Are they separate?
Obviously, I'm in favor of paying people for expertise and work that they bring to the table. I just, the fact that we write this check every month bothers me a little bit. If we paid her $36,000 a year to go through the reinsurance and the whatever, and to manage that whole process, then I get that. That's that I'm just $3,000 a month, and I'm going, don't think I've heard from her this month. What have you guys heard? So that's maybe it's just more the way it's being billed than the amount. But I would like us to do a more thorough job of exploring options as we look at for 2024.
We need to.
I have some data from last year from one of our meetings that I can share with you to basically break it down where our money actually goes. And it's a year-long snapshot, so it shows our stop loss fees, our admin fees, our TPA fees, those fees, and then claims, and it'll show you the difference between what we actually pay. Yeah, I can show you that.
Okay, and again, I sat in, it was before I was commissioner, but I sat in on this plan redesign discussion, and I think she was involved in that, and we have our TPA involved in that. And so, you know, I appreciate that, but I guess I'm just looking at not just renewing, rolling year after year after year with some tweaks. I'm looking at, help us think outside the box here. What are other counties doing? What are our options? Is self-funded the only option for us? What other things do we need to be thinking about, I guess, is my question.
I agree, yeah.
No, self-funded is not the only option, but you could be fully insured. And then you're with Anthem or United Healthcare, or you could do that. In bad years, you maybe make out. In the good years, you may not see the savings. But that's the difference between, you know, and maybe it's something to look at.
Good. Very good. Thanks.
Well, I think you're right. I think being self-insured is a risk.
Mhm.
But, you know, with a plan administrator, and that's what Wayne Shapley, it sounds like in the past, and that was before I was a commissioner, but, I mean, she has taken us to her best proposal for a plan for Adams County. So her value to us is in part administering a plan that's,
Historically, the value's been there, but it's always good to take another look.
Right. You know, we did have USI come and present, Jody Kinsey came and presented. When was that, Shannon? When did Jody Kinsey come?
I think it was September of last year.
September, she came in September to us because she would do the same thing. She would be, I guess, what Elaine kind of is or whatever, but, so we have looked at that, we just haven't.
Good deal. Well, that's, you know, looking at $3.5 million, maybe the single biggest expenditure we've got in the county other than payroll. We just need to make sure we're appropriately shopping that. Obviously, it's a huge benefit to our most important resource, which are human resources. A big benefit, we want to make sure we're getting the best coverage we can get for the money we're spending.
Yeah, I know, it wasn't Mark, that the county was in deep trouble because of insurance.
Yep.
And 2013,
Somewhere,
right in that area somewhere, that we are in much better shape than we were in 2014 because that was eating us alive.
in 2014, we were down to a point where we just about needed to do an additional appropriation.
Yeah.
And the cost of our plan was $3.2 million.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And we just about went underwater. And from that point on, that's when we brought in, and we had a plan there. We were self-funded, but all of these components were really under one umbrella with Renacom. So they were doing all of those things. And so all of the fees were baked into it. When we went to this model, it's all spread out, separate, TPA, separate plan managers, separate, stop loss, actuary, where we're, looking at all those components. And that saved us a lot of money. And as a result, we've got over $3 million in surplus at this point. Now, the cost, however, of the cost of the plan since then has gone up. The cost has gone up for everybody. And so now here we are back at $3.4 million, but we're 9 years down the road. Costs have gone up 10, 15% per year. And so, but that's still not a reason to not look at it again.
Yeah,
And so,
really, I'm not questioning what's been done previously. My experience is that you need to go to the market regularly on some kind of a schedule, just to make sure that the market hasn't changed, that the products haven't changed. And you do that in such a complex way with RAN, by finding a consultant that will help you go back to the market and say, here are our employees, here's generally what we want to cover. How would you suggest we provide that coverage?
Similar to what we just did with county property and casualty insurance and
Absolutely.
liability.
Yeah.
We found it hadn't been rebid for 3 years, I think, and suddenly we got $90,000 less than what we were being charged, so.
All of a sudden, we had a big savings that was found.
Because they were stopping it more. So,
And again, believe me, I'm not questioning at all. I think the health insurance we provide in place is a really good, high quality benefit. And I don't know that we're overpaying for that. I would like to know that we're not overpaying for that is my question.
Yeah, it'll be it's a long process and
I mean, it's a tough process. And I would not encourage we do it any more often than we have to. But if we haven't done it for several years, it's probably time.
I guess.
But it's a long, tough process, and I know I'm asking a lot.
No, I think it's a good year to, let's take a look at it.
Sorry, Stan, didn't mean to hijack a meeting.
no, that's fine. Did we approve that claim then?
I think we did, did we?
Okay.
Yeah.
And he is 33% of the processor, so. Yeah, I got promoted, I'm now 50%. We'll reflect that with your pay. All right. Okay. Anything else for us, Tony? That's all for me. Okay. All right. Brad? You need an additional appropriation to buy more signs?
You just wait. I will tell you that the word is getting out. I don't know if this is getting resolved, but I'm hearing about it out in the public. I'm getting closer to figuring out where the signs are going. And so thanks to the press and this discussion, I think the word is getting out. I don't know that we're going to solve the problem, but we have more people in tune to the problem.
Yeah, and this last weekend, 25.
Wow. Do you think they're selling them as their market at these things?
There is a market, and we done a little research. The sheriff's investigators done a little research, but
It seems to be beyond pranking kind of stuff. Like I want one for my bedroom and crap like that.
well, if they line their bedroom plus their other room and their other room, they have enough. So
So I told my grandson, I said, you figure out where our signs are going, but I think it's probably, it's bigger than kids.
we don't know at this point.
Sure
Yeah.
seems to be.
Yes.
So they melt that off, scrap money too, possibly?
Well, I thought there's the sign faces on them, and man, that'd be,
Would they burn off or they fire?
I think it leaves such a mess that,
Gotcha.
I mean, then that super hot fire they'd have to me is not worth 72 signs that we're up to now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, yeah, I mean, not that they couldn't do it, but yeah. So,
It's just, at this point, it's hard for me to understand the motive. It's much more than a prank. It's much more than vandalism. I don't know if it's spite or if it is.
that's the wrong way to get back at
It
us.
just almost feels like it's for profit.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand it.
I don't know.
Like we talked before, we have scrap dealers. Most of that, and
Well, they
Try not to-
for profit. I mean, scrap dealers wouldn't buy that.
that's the thing, when they see those come in, they're gonna go, wait a minute, where'd you get them? But,
Yeah.
so, yeah. But no, all right, we're a little closer, and again, I think the sheriff's department for helping, we've been talking to Dan a little bit today more about it, and,
We'll try to do a couple things, see if we can get it.
yeah.
How concentrated was the area that they took the signs this time? Was it pretty concentrated?
2 miles by 6 miles. 21 and 25 signs.
Almost 4 miles.
Yeah.
So that's not concentrated.
Mile,
Well, yes and no, but,
mile by what, 3 miles each thing?
man, roughly
2 by 6.
2 by 6, yeah, 2 by 6, there you go. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so that's out of the way.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, we're coming up with a list of cost. We can throw a rough idea, I'll actually sit down now and get an exact cost. Last week we came before you, opened up the community crossings bids, went through them, everything looks good. So now Dave, we just need to, if you guys are good with it, go ahead and,
Make a recommendation.
yeah, then we go with Brooks. It'd be, so Brooks Construction at $864,372.
motion to approve, the bid for Brooks Construction for $864,372 for community crossing, work.
Second.
The next item I have is we have one permit today, and it is for Indiana Michigan Power on County Road 300 East between 900 North and 1,000 North. There's a new house being put up, so they're going to replace the pole, remove a pole, and add a pole. So, but it's for a new house, and that's why they're doing some of this. Everything where they're at, they've got stakes out there where they can put them up. Look, looks good. They're the backside of the ditch, so.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a question for you now. Yes, yep. Can we talk about internet access at this point? It's interesting that we regularly have these requests from our utility providers for easements across our property so that they can install do their work.
Yeah.
And believe me, it's important to our public that that's be available.
See if you're.
We had a resident in this morning that talked about the inability for them to get
Grab this, yeah.
internet service at their home at, I believe it's the intersection of 000 and 900 North.
Yep.
And there are, if I'm not mistaken, quite a few new houses out there
Yes.
in that area. So I guess my question is this: is there a vendor, a purveyor of internet services that you are aware of out there that's getting easements, that's putting in lines, that's doing that kind of work, that we could reach out to and say, hey, we need help here. You're coming to us all the time to build out help you build out your infrastructure. We've got residents that can't get your service, need your service. How can you help us? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, because it was interesting when I was here for that.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, we're crazy. We know there's all kind of utilities right there in that corner, so, Harold, the one guy that lives on the corner there, in the southeast corner.
Yeah.
They got the cables right there.
Yeah.
And they can't get internet.
My question is, I don't know who to call or who to reach out to. And I thought, well, that's coming all that you got contacts there, you're working with.
And that's what I'm wondering, possibly, if we could reach out to the ones that are contacting us, because it's gonna be different than the ones, we'll just pause that number.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we have a little leverage in that
Yes.
single household does. We need your help.
Yeah. Yep, I know, I've seen about that earlier too, when you brought that up.
Good.
So yeah, that's something that we could talk to them about.
Or obviously, if there's somebody that you want me to talk to, I'm happy to talk to them too, but.
And we can talk to them, and if we need to go further, then.
Yeah, there's a conversation we need to have. But obviously, from our perspective of economic development and housing providing and so on and so forth, high-speed internet is as critical anywhere as electricity is, it seems like.
Yep.
To somebody that's looking to build or buy or move into our county.
Yes. Yep. All right, the next thing, just kind of get this out in the media too. It's that time of year again. We're going to start selling buggy plates. And we're starting March 1st through May 15th, selling buggy plates this year.
May 15th.
March 1st through May 15th, yes.
Everything the same as last year.
Yeah, we haven't raised anything, same process. Other than this year, they will be getting new plates. So we go 3 years, we'll get new plates, go 3 years of stickers. Now this year, it's a whole new plate. So that's the only thing that really changed. So,
So when they get a whole new, like they get a whole new registration sticker for the axle also?
yes.
Where did they get their?
Well, I should, yes, they do, yes.
Okay.
What's that?
Where did they get their?
They can come to our garage in Monroe, our office. It's 201 North Folk Street. And the hours are 7 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Oak Street?
Yep, Folk Street. CSL will be coming up, and that means that'll be a very busy time, especially in the office, so.
Okay.
All right, the one other thing we've talked about a little bit before was, we've talked about buying vehicles now for a while, and nothing, you can't order, basically the 3/4 ton like we would get until next fall, if you can then. So we talked with Mark a little bit about maybe a process we could use to actually get something. And we talked about, when you order a new vehicle, you go 3 different manufacturers, they give you quotes, and then you take the quote. And what Mark suggested at this point was go, as long as you're looking for the same basic vehicle, there are new ones out on lots. Not very many, but there are new ones out on lots. So go out and get 3, and get saying, hey, it's got a V8, it's got a 4-wheel drive, it's got an automatic transmission. As long as the main things match up, Mark thought that would be fine to do it that way, because you're still getting 3 prices. So, we did this one maybe a little different, but we didn't even know where to start on price. Normally when you quote them, they'll give you the price. But when they're already sitting on the lots, we got to basically call them. So we reached out to 3 different dealers and said, hey, what? And Paul did this. Paul did all the work on this, reached out to 3 different dealers. Okay, what you got that is available? How much is it going to be? And do we get, there used to be government discounts. So we all go ahead, if you want to explain a little bit.
Reaching out to the different dealerships, I asked about used to get municipal discounts, used to get government discounts. Manufacturers have nixed that for supply and demand, said sorry, we're not doing it anymore as of now. So I got 3 different quotes for basically 3 different very similar trucks, because we didn't know where we were going to start. We didn't know how much to come in and say, gentlemen, this is what we're looking at. So, I don't know if you guys would entertain the idea of looking at these quotes, or if you want to give us permission to pursue farther. I guess I'm asking for guidance and permission.
So another interesting thing, and I guess I could say brand name, Kelly. The style of truck we have, the color we have, what we want, and Kelly's big, they got 1 on the lot that's not spoken for. And so that's why I'm sorry that we're coming in this way. It's kind of a backwards process, but so at this point, I guess we're asking you guys, we did get 3 quotes, we're asking them just because we needed to know what we're even looking at this point. So we do have them. We want to ask your permission to do it. So it's kind of backwards. What's that?
Is this a 10.5 or is it a?
No, it's a
3/4?
Yeah.
This is the one that you guys drive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the one that typically we would order. Yeah,
Right.
typically we would send out, usually buying 1 off the lot now. And they are brand new. None of mine,
Yeah, the warranties haven't started or anything.
the warranties haven't started until they get purchased. That's why, like I said, I apologize, this is totally backwards, but at this point, we didn't know how to handle it.
It looks to me like as long as they meet your basic specs, and you have 3 quotes,
Apples to apples on this procurement market, we don't have a choice.
yeah, I agree. I don't feel like being held hostage to the supply chain if we can figure out how to work through it.
Yeah. Okay, so, if you guys are all right, we can present these to you if you want to, whatever.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I'm fine.
Okay, so this is totally backwards, just don't. So you're gonna find this interesting.
Okay, this one is from Kelly Automotive, the one truck that they have on the lot in Fort Wayne. It is a 1-ton, single rear wheel, 4-wheel drive, long bed pickup. The specs are as close as we can get as far as finding them on the lot is what we would normally spec out. They want, sale price would be $45,075.
This is a 23.
And this is a 2023. We were able to find 2 Dodge trucks, which is similar to what we already have. Both of these are 2022. So like I said, this is about as close to getting to what we would spec as normal. This one is from Michiana, Dodge Jeep Ram. Their price is $62,913.73.
Wow.
Yeah.
You probably got a Hemi.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. It does. Let's see. This is a Dodge also from Ed Morton from Anderson, Indiana. Their price for this truck is $45,236.
That's a Dodge also.
And that's a Dodge also.
So, yeah, when Paul did his research and got hold of these dealers, it's pretty interesting how that spread is there. Yeah. And to be honest too, basically what they're saying is, you know, if somebody wants a vehicle right now, they would pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and my search was 250 miles, and that's the 3 trucks I found.
Wow. The Kelly truck, is it the color?
yes, they're all red. They're all red. They all have a different name for red, but they're all red. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and the difference between the 2 Dodges and the Chevy is the Chevy is actual 1-ton single rear wheel, and it's got an 8-foot bed instead of a 6-foot bed. Other than that, it's equally equipped.
Yeah.
Are the others 3/4 ton?
Yes.
Chevy's.
And that's it. The 2 Dodges were 3/4 ton. This Chevy just happens to be a 1-ton that he has on his lot. It's the same pickup, just a heavier suspension.
Is that preferable then to you guys to have the 1-ton, or would you rather have the 3/4 ton?
Honestly, on either one of them, to me, it doesn't so much matter because it'll handle the front plow. And possibly the 1-ton would handle it better, but we haven't had any problem with our Dodges at this point. But no, that 1-ton will handle that plow fine.
And eventually, I mean, over several years, it'll get handed down into the fleet, so.
Well, it feels to me like unless you have a preference for the Dodge over the Chevy, the Dodge is a little bit more favorably priced. It's the 23 versus 22, and it's a 1-ton versus 3/4 ton. To me, that all lines up to feel like the better option.
See, the 2023, that's the Chevy.
Yep.
That's the 4507.
Yeah.
And then, what was 62,000? Is that a
22.
22? Is that a cheaper?
No. But then you go, basically the 2 Dodges, they're the same truck.
They're exactly the same.
It's just different dealers.
It's $20,000.
I guess to me, it makes more sense to go with the newer truck, the heavier truck, you know, for the 45. I mean, I didn't know it's 45, but
Are you looking to pull the trigger on something today? Are you looking for,
I mean, we seriously, the way we're approaching this, we don't want to rush, but that's it for we go on yes,
the truck's gonna be gone next week if it's still there,
if it's still there.
Right.
and this is in your replacement plan, this is
Yes.
this is part of your
Yes.
vehicle for your equipment replacement.
So so we get a new one, the one Paul's driving, we'll go down into the fleet that gets used every day for everything. We'll get rid of one of the older ones that needs to go. We'll get rid of it.
Does it need to be red or does it matter?
The color?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when I first started here and I brought that, when I got my new truck and I brought that up and it basically said that it needs to be red. So I asked.
Okay.
Stan got it.
Okay. You said
I don't know, so is the Chevy red?
And they're all red, they're all red.
You know, any white ones cheaper?
Well, we never priced it.
Never priced it right.
Well, that's kind of funny when you drive around Kelly down here, they've got white trucks on.
They have a million of them.
But I don't think they're for sale. I think they're all competitive.
Yes.
You're not running the lease fleet somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you, we actually been doing our homework. This is probably one for Williams lot.
Yeah.
I guess to me, that makes the most sense. I mean, that way, as it gets handed down, so if you put a salt spreader, or whatever on it, you've got the 1-ton instead of the 3/4 ton.
Yeah.
And with the single rear wheel, you know.
Yep. I would make a motion to approve purchasing the 1-ton 2003 Chevy from Kelly for $45,075.
I'd second that.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. So now this one, we are going to,
Thanks, Mark. I think in this group we're in today, I think we have to do things differently than we have previously.
yes. So now on the same kind of lines as that, our mechanics, when they need to go out in the field and something breaks down, they have to go work on the track, work on the grader, what they have right now is a pickup, and it's an 05 pickup, full drive, has the side mark, you add it on top, and that's what they use. That is really showing its age, of course, and basically if they need fluids, they grab jugs, put the fluid in back of the pickup, which it works, it does. What we have come up with, we would like to see a service body, get a truck with a service body. So now that we kind of have an idea of how we can do some things, we would like to get your permission to pursue that also. We've also done research, we didn't get any quotes or nothing on those. So those are actually more readily available than what a pickup is. And we talked too, we don't need a brand new one. So if we would like to go out and look for used, then we talked about amount.
Around 60.
If 60 could get us a really good used, few year old truck, 100,000 miles on it. It would have a body already on it, and now there again, we get into some variances because, you got some with a plain body, you got some that come with an air compressor, crane, the hydraulic tanks on it and that, and we don't need all that. But if we can get your permission, we would like to pursue that avenue. And we also, March told us before about going to auctions. And so we could go to local auction too in March. They're gonna have, when they have their equipment auction down here.
What are you gonna do with the truck you're replacing?
It'll be handed, it'll go down in.
So is that a truck that you could put a service body on?
It's rusted, the cab's rusting out and just, is that a half ton?
Yeah.
That's only a half ton.
It's since 2005, right?
Yes.
It kind of gets back to that. There's a certain time at which these things just are more expensive to keep than they are to replace.
Because honestly, Stan, we kick that around too. Because we could go out and buy a service box.
As I say, they got them out here at the truck.
Yeah, we want to look at those inside.
How much is just a box like that,
About $9,000.
Yeah. Yeah, do we take a 05 truck like that and put that brand new $9,000 belly?
I'm not saying on the 05, I was wondering the one that you're getting rid of to replace.
From the old number 4.
Sorry to tackle, but number 4 is bad already, ready to fall off of it. I mean,
the
I know what you're saying.
remember you're now driving. The Dodge. Remember you're now driving. That's what I'm saying, if you put a service bed on top. If that's him, you're replacing with the 2023 one time.
And we're not replacing it, it just goes down into the fleet and we get rid of the older.
Get rid of
stuff. Yeah, like what's the number 4, is that a 90?
It's a 99,
9?
98 or 99.
Yeah. So no, the one that is going to get handed down is an 18.
Right.
So we're trying to get the fleet updated this way.
But get rid of that, it would make more sense to find a truck with a service body on it already, or rather to use one of the ones that's stepping down.
Well, we could, but then we're not replacing nothing, not really updating anything in the fleet.
You still have that 90, whatever it is.
That 99 plus then the 05 that the mechanic uses now would go into that.
Definitely one that's would go away.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get the pickup, something will go away. And if we get a service truck, we can get rid of something else. Maybe not the 05, because that's actually better than some of the others. Sure. Yes, 2 will go away. Yeah. But at this point, we're just asking you permission to start this process and then come back with you at some point. Yeah, and try and do it the correct way.
And if you buy it at auction, Mark, is that an assumption then that it's market price?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do that, especially for used equipment. We've done that before.
The bucket truck worked out really well that way.
Good deal. Not everything has to be brand new, but when we're running 1999 equipment in 2023, that's a stretch.
That's, yeah, I mean, it's just when you find yourselves in these sorts of procurement nightmares, you gotta start coming up with a way to do business.
Absolutely. Agree.
So we need a motion or anything on that or not?
I don't think so. I think just, I mean, get the notification.
Art,
Brad?
Right.
or Brad. Anybody says anything to you about the red trucks, you just say we're living in Monroe, we think we should have that at Central come.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I do go on the wrong side right now.
Sure.
Rick, did you have anything for us?
One thing. And I noticed that Steve isn't here. Did you have a chance to look over the generator bits? Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. We talked about it too in the, lunch committee the other day too, so.
Like I said, I understand Steve's not here.
That's all right. We can.
Yeah, and I think,
Do you have a recommendation?
I think the other part was
I
the,
think every part is the one that
Low.
I think comes to this, yeah.
now the other updates that we had talked about the other day were, not necessarily upgrading the fuel tank to a larger fuel tank, but upgrading maybe the sound deadening.
If you look at the two gentlemen, Everpar is lower than Cummings, just straight out buying the transfer switch and the generator. But the silencer, to silence it down, you can kind of see that number there. One is about $500 cheaper than the other, so they're just opposite.
Yeah. Here's the dirt part pad for the silencer.
And we don't necessarily have to buy that silencer now either. That's,
So that can be added.
that can be added, but it would be better to have that right off the bat. I
I could kind of wait until the neighbors start complaining. and
Yeah.
add it on.
pretty much.
So the other parts, even if you add the silencer, the other part's still cheaper
That's correct.
by a few $100s.
The other thing is that they were pretty responsive.
They were. They were very responsive.
One's a Generac and one, both Generacs, there's one at Cummins and one at Generac.
One's a Cummins,
Okay.
the other one's a Generac.
Any preference there from your perspective or from your expert's perspective?
From the research, when I was talking to Gene Blakey about this, he said either or, and
Okay.
Hang on just a minute here. The right one.
I think we ought to.
Yeah, to me,
I think there's
to me, that makes the most sense for sure. You know, that even if we're not ready for it yet, as Brad said, they've got a place for it to throw it down at the highway garage until we're ready to install.
I haven't gave any numbers out here yet, and I didn't know if you were ready for me to, but the Everpar is approximately about $600 difference,
Okay.
even with the silencer.
Less?
Less.
Yeah.
It is less.
And you can see any other difference the specs are pretty complex for
They are,
a banker like me to look through.
they're about, they really are, they're Apple.
Apples to apples. Then it's my motion that we do accept the lowest bid from Everpar.
I would second that. To go ahead and get it ordered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they have a proposal form or a purchase order form that we need to
They
sign?
do have here where I need a signature.
We have to get it. They want some money down.
Yeah,
You need an amount?
We need an amount for this.
you need the amount?
I can figure the amount here.
I have it right here,
Including the,
including,
okay, go ahead, what's the amount?
it's just a little over the benchmark we wanted.
Okay.
It is, Everpar is, 150,315.
$150,315. Okay, that's my motion.
Would you like the other one read?
Nope.
That's the bid.
I do,
I feel good when we have bids that are similar. That feels like that,
yeah,
that
Maybe we're
we're getting
getting
the
back to
price.
silence first.
Yeah, and I think you gotta leave that off, because you gotta be under the 150.
Okay,
Let's leave the silence off.
okay, so the new number would be 141,815, $1,041,815.
$141,815.
Yeah,
Well, it's 150, is that before we have to go to a different bidding process?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yep. And then for the record, you need to make sure you've got the other quotes on the record too, so.
yeah.
okay.
One or the other.
I think I have those.
I can give you copies. I can read them.
With those amounts.
Yeah, let's just read them. That way we've got them in the record.
Okay, so that was Everpar, that's being awarded. Cummings number 142,772,64. $142,772.64. The other quote was Fuel Engineering Company. Theirs was $158,700.
Good. Well, I know you put a lot of work in between you and Jim. Have put a lot of work into evaluating not only the electrical system in the building, but anticipating future needs of the electrical in the building and contacting companies for bids. So I know that was a long process for you. And so we'll be glad to get that coming.
Then are you ready to sign this then? I can, yeah, I think you have to sign it, Stan.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get you copies, Tony.
Yeah, I think I have.
I'll get you copies of this signature. There's a lot of other things going on, but really nothing to report right now. Good deal.
Behind schedule anyway.
Yeah.
Got Michelle and you.
The block wall is done. The power
Good.
is.
You need a PO on that? No, we don't need a PO on that. I didn't put the date on there. Is there an attestation on that or is it, it's just that signature?
You good?
I used a big college work.
Now, there's no date on here, Tony. Is this okay? I have it dated.
Go over this three. Get you the date on it.
It's Valentine's.
I can remember what today is. It's gonna be this year.
14th.
That's good.
No draw. I don't know.
It's Halloween Street.
That's all I have. Thank you. That's your work.
Okay, Ed, did you have anything for us?
I do real quick.
I'm sorry, I'll get out of here.
Last year was our first year that we used L&D mail testers for our, it's our vendor for printing and mailing of tax statements. Everything worked out really well. I was very happy with them, and I think our constituents were very happy with it too. But with that, last year it was, I had said it was doing it just for 1 year, and we'd come back to you to ask permission for do it again. Now, you've basically given me that because we started already with doing this, but I have the official estimate that I need to get you to sign, if you would. And it's an estimate because we do not know how many multiple parcel letters will be mailed. If there's fewer than one parcel, they'll combine those into one envelope up to 12, I believe, then they use a big envelope and such like that. But it worked real well. We'll have a final bill at the end of the tax season. Last year, the bill was $100, about $100 less than the estimate was. But last year, we spent $13,084.83. This year, the estimate is $13,903.65, for an increase of $818.82. All of that is postage increase. We had 2 postage increases this last year. And of course, they had the same postage increase. But by using L&D for every single letter that goes through, they can get it done about 5 cents cheaper than we can.
Oh, wow.
And even though our postage machine is cheaper than a stamp. So, just the scale of volume, it really, really helps. So I'm asking for the total printing of $63.87.88, postage, which you able to claim today, $75.15.77, a total of $13,903.65.
Okay, and that is a quote, so.
That is an estimate.
An estimate, yes. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So,
Make a motion to approve,
Second.
enter into another 1-year agreement with this firm.
Okay. And if it works, ever comes to the point where it doesn't work, then I'm fine with going back to the other way, but it's worked pretty well.
so this again is for another year, and then next year we'll
1 year at a time.
see Mr.
Yeah.
I see it right.
I used to practice my mom out like that, so I'd send notes back to the teachers. They seal stuff. Tell anybody that.
I need this copy for you. Thanks. That's all I have.
All right.
Thank you much.
Thank you. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll bring Michelle up first. Yeah, we'll make sure. All right. Michelle, did you want to come on? Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You know me, papers.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's Steve's. Someone said he might be traveling.
Build a file here for you.
There you go. Thanks. Yep.
See if I can remember that.
Okay, can you hear me? Is that good? All right, so it's just a quick update. I met with Todd Jennings from NDOT. 2 weeks ago, he wants me to stay in constant communication with you guys since you're going to be partners with me if we're able to pursue the public transportation. So this is just to break down a quick, and then the paperwork that's after it, you guys can read that in your leisure time. It's part of the plan that I'm working on with him. I'm meeting with him again on Thursday to answer any questions I have on those. So first off, he was very pleasantly surprised at the level of support that you guys have committed to this. It is higher than other agencies that he's been able to see across the state, so he was really impressed with that. He's going to survey them to find out what their transportation rates are for public transportation. There would be a set rate schedule depending on the distance. He was thinking for a one-way trip would be around $2.50 or $3. But he was going to survey other similar agencies with our similar clientele to see what would be a good rate for us to start at. It's interesting, I was able to hear the highway department's need for trucks. I did a grant 3 years ago, in 2020 for vehicles we still have not received due to the shortage. And if you notice there on that second bullet, he said that we could utilize in buying vehicles at full cost versus going through the grant, which I still have them coming with the grant, but we do need more to increase the fleet for public. Those prices are double what we paid 2 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And I said, do you think they will go lower? And he said, no. So,
And you still waiting on orders from 2020? Oh, my gosh.
yep. So I'm waiting on a low floor minivan that's wheelchair accessible and a small transit 2 years ago. So, 3 years ago. So if I wanted to purchase, he said I could use NDOT's pricing. I'm not sure what QPA stands for. Quantity purchase agreement. I'm not sure with the state to buy additional vans if possible. He is fine with the proposed hours of operation, 6 a to 6 p, Monday through Friday, with the hope of down in the future when we have the vehicles and the staff to maybe be open on Saturdays as well. He said that he would like periodically to have someone, a county commissioner or in county council, to do an in-field observation right along, make sure that everything's going well once we get that up and running. He said he would help us market and maybe do a launch party when we get closer to roll out the public transportation for Adams County. He was very excited about that and said he had a lot of resources he could help with that. Some things that we're looking at that I'll be talking with him about on Thursday is the transportation program budget versus our overall agency budget. And when I come up with those numbers, it needs to be specific for just public. And he had asked if we were going to try to have certain vehicles just do public and certain vehicles maintain what we're currently doing. And I said, no, they would all be doing the same. I'm not going to try
You're
to.
going to have 2 budgets, are you?
I think I have to have an overall budget, and then what part of that is just transportation. So hopefully that isn't too tedious. I mentioned that Bi-County Services would be a large benefactor of us if we went public. That way we could contract with them to transport their clients over to Wells. And he said that would be great. That would also help towards the local match that's required. He said that he has funding available that would possibly allow us to purchase tablets that we could put our software on. That way we could dispatch directly to the vehicles. That would be helpful as well. I asked about other agencies in the state that have like tickets and passes that you can buy, and he said that's fine as long as they can't be duplicated. So I'm not sure how that would work. He was saying like a paper, like coupons, if you wanted to buy 10 passes for the bus, that's fine, but they have to be watermarked or somehow coded so that people just couldn't make copies of that. And I didn't even think that would happen, but I guess that has happened in the past. And how it's different than what we're currently doing is right now we just do suggested donations for trips. If someone cannot afford to pay, they still can ride. He and I had a lengthy discussion about this, and that when someone will schedule their trip with public, they will be told, well, your trip going from your home to Walmart, say, is $3. And if they cannot pay, they don't ride. And I knowing me, it's gonna be hard for me, but he said, you need to stay consistent with that. Otherwise, there's always gonna be someone trying to take advantage. There's, oh, I'll pay next time. And we have that now. I mean, we have a lot of people, we have some writers that aren't able to contribute, but they just need to know ahead of time what that expectation is gonna be, and we just need to be consistent with it. Otherwise, we're gonna be at a deficit. And that would,
So will like say if somebody rides, will they pay the driver?
yeah, they'll pay the driver and they'll know ahead of time.
Or cash, like say a Uber or.
And they're not gonna make change either, so he recommended that. He said, don't get in the habit of making change.
How
Because
about like Squarespace or something, can you do that on the tablets
I would love that, because I've had several people, I'm checking into that, yeah,
to take cards right there?
right, and maybe we could even have them call the office if I'm able to utilize that, and they could have a credit on their account and say, oh, well, you're still covered, that would be easier, you know? But just to start off from the start and being consistent in that, because that has become an issue. He was very pleased that I plan, once we start public, to meet with you guys monthly, if that's okay. He just wants to make sure that everybody's informed, because it's a big partnership with a lot of revenue coming in to the county. And then I was able to add, I added Stan and Tony and Susie Rottenbush, my transportation coordinator, into Black Cat. That's the online platform that they use, so that especially you, Tony, you will be able to utilize that, and it'll have all the reports and anything you need when audit time comes. There's nothing to do with it now. It's just he wanted you guys to have access. So I meet again with him Thursday at 1. So I know it's kind of a lot. It's
Well, it sounds pretty positive to me. I mean, it
He
sounds
was
like,
very positive.
yeah,
Yeah, and he was very impressed with the level of support, and he was grateful to be able to come and present. I'm just glad it's starting to move forward. I mean, we've been in a stalemate for 15 years
yeah.
with this I'm just glad that it's going. And some of the things I've put my questions on that I'll be asking him on Thursday. There's a direct cost and indirect cost I'm not 100% on yet, so he'll be able to answer that as well. So this is just what he and I went over the other day. So I just wanted to let you guys know, and then I'll keep you updated when we meet again. And that would be the logo, if that's okay, the Adams County Transit. My niece, who's an animation person, made it for us, so that would be that.
So, I mean, since they have rails on wheels, you don't want to do Adams on axles.
I know.
And,
I might. What would that be, Aon? Hopefully it's not Adams with some.
Do we have, and I haven't went all the way through the projections because with our allocations towards council on aging, plus our allocations towards through the CEDAP funds, and then considering the match from the federal match, do we have a project cost?
And that's what we're starting on.
That's what we just started.
Yep, so if you look at the second page, I'll have a budget draft with him on March 3rd.
Okay.
So definitely, but he thinks we're in excellent shape as far as the budgeting type, and to be able to sustain it for the 2 years while we're in demonstration. And he even mentioned that possibly we would only be in demonstration 1 year. And that we would be able to possibly tap into the funding that he usually holds out for year 3 into year 2. So he's been wonderful.
But I mean, that's even considering we've got a garage to build,
I know.
so.
He's excited, so.
Good. I don't know, I told you that, we facilitated a meeting with the city to try and, work out a spot for us at Northwest Square at the Merit Center.
Awesome.
You know, that the county could take control of.
Yeah.
You know, and accompany that with a long-term lease for office facilities and just have a real stable environment for this program. So,
No, I appreciate that.
yeah. So I don't know, do you have anything else as far as that goes, Mark, or?
I think what I need to do is probably, if I can do it this week, can I see what my calendar looks like?
Well, he's looking at that. I do have part 2. It's just, it's the request that I put into council. I don't know how many months ago about the ARPA money, so that if we're able to do a long-term lease, and I've been able to get some of the, I'm sorry, Tony, I didn't get you one of those. You can just have Mark's.
I'm just still in work.
No, you're good. I was able to get the handicap restroom added. I've been able to make quite a bit of improvements, getting grants and other things. So this is just a smaller ARPA request than what I had done back in, I think it was August. And you can look through it and see pictures of the restroom that's just about finished. So if that could just be on the back burner, that if that would become available again, we would love that.
I would have to, from my understanding, the previous one, city did not take part, or is that a different? There's a whole different thing in the original one that you had done.
This is just a smaller version of the original, because I've gotten some of the
Because
work.
the other one, I think, is off the table, so this would be a new one. And the commissioners would have to approve it first, and would then go to council for the funding, if
See if that
the
works.
council could say yes or no at that time,
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah, and I don't think they made any determination the first time around. I think the issue was about the lease, not wanting to give I didn't hear, did they?
I remember Julie Marie had said something regarding council on aging was taken off because the city did not, it was
The long-term
contingent on the
lease.
city taking part, and they said no, so it was off the table. I don't know if it's same one or not, I think it might be,
Okay,
but I think so, probably. Yeah. I mean, we kind of, I think that's what we're trying to change, and that's when we met with
city
the
council.
city council members and the mayor, and just kind of sat down and had a quick discussion about, where they're at with the building, what kind of things we would like to see. It's just a very good discussion, so,
Good.
yeah. So I appreciate Mark sitting in and kind of helping facilitate that whole discussion. So when they're ready,
I have their packets if they are,
you
whenever.
guys would have to look at this, and at some point, if you wanted to approve it or whatever, then it would go the next step to the council. So, I don't know, Mark, if any procurement issues with any of that or not, but that's something I need to,
Yeah.
but you did good there, right? Figures are happy.
It's almost, yeah, there's pictures, it's almost done. They're putting it around.
Stop over.
You'll see it tomorrow, right? We can do it tomorrow.
Yep.
Thank you.
Would tomorrow at 11 o'clock, if I would just
With
come
me.
out there, because I need to come out, I just need to kind of come out and sit down with you and look at the space that you're utilizing.
Yeah.
And that way I've got a description that I can put together in an interlocal agreement with the
That sounds
city.
great. I've got a board meeting at noon, but we'll be finished before then.
Yeah, maybe 11,
Yeah.
because it shouldn't take more than an hour.
Okay.
What's your email address? Right.
I have a card. I can give you.
Yeah, perfect.
That's something.
I'll just put it on the calendar.
Well, and, from the things that I've talked with Todd, he's just the kind of guy that if you want to work with him, he's more than willing to work with you. And, for him to have that kind of a positive feedback to you, I mean, that says a lot about what you're doing and what you've done. And so, I just, everybody I talk to in other departments and stuff, there's a real excitement and real need to have public transportation, so.
Yes.
I think this is just a great.
I think it's
step
going to
forward.
benefit so many people.
Michelle, do you have an anticipated launch date for the public?
January 1st.
Okay, January 1st of 2024?
Yep.
Is that dependent on acquiring more vehicles?
So that is going to be our launch with our current fleet or any others that we can get.
So
So,
you heard our conversation
Oh,
with
absolutely.
the county highway, and having your vehicles on order doesn't help you when you're ready to start transporting.
right. So the transit vehicle is a couple years out still, I think.
Yes.
But the low floor mini, we should have in the fall.
Okay.
And then I could buy some at full cost from Midwest Transit in Indy if that is the need that we need. So.
Okay.
So we currently have 4. The one in the fall will be 5. We'll just have to go with what we have until we can get more.
Okay.
That way we could help more people.
I guess I was just, that the old ways of obtaining stuff just doesn't seem to work anymore.
I agree.
So I think we just have to begin to be more creative and for those things that we have to have, is it one that's 1 or 2 years old, or is it one that's off the dealer lot, or is it one at auction, or?
Well, and for us to be able to receive the NDOT money, there are different certifications, qualifications that the vehicles need. They're very particular, which is why he suggested the Midwest Transit, because that's who we get them from through the state, but then they would also have already met that criteria. And I am working on a grant to replace one of our vehicles that we'll keep. It's only a 16 and it's met its use of life according to NDOT. So that'll be 6.
Okay.
And then with the transit coming, that'll be 7. So we'll be okay. I mean, I thought 8 would be a good spot for us to double our fleet. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Is there any software that any of the other local transit authorities are using, that for things like dispatch software, ride software?
We actually have software. It's only a couple years old. That would work. Yes.
Does that software have any components for payment if we did like a transportation pass or something that
I think it would.
They could have like a preloaded card,
Yeah.
They can just get on and
Swipe it.
swipe a card and they've got credit on their card, and they can load it maybe on the web, upload credit to it.
Yeah, I'll check into it, but it's a small, it's a husband and wife that created it and they're out of Michigan and we've had them since 19. So I'll definitely check into that.
Yeah.
They are willing to do anything to help out.
That would be nice if that would include, that way it'd help people with payment, so if we're rather than handling cash.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing where you have it on your phone?
Yeah. I mean,
If my
you could have-
drivers
you
had
could
a
have an app.
square or
Yeah, you
they
just
could
have
do
an
it
app
on the
phone
tablet.
When you come in,
yeah,
you'd probably have to have some sort of
have them in the
hotspot
system.
or something inside the van, and but it would be you come in and hit payment, and that would be it. Is there any sort of mileage charge at all, or is it just flat?
No, so I think from what I've seen from other counties, like say 0 to 5 miles would be $3, 6 to 10 miles would be $5. And they would know that ahead of time. The mileage would, when we book the trip, the mileage would spit out, it's going to be a $7.50 trip.
I see, and that's round trip,
That I'll probably be one way.
one way. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
So,
Do they schedule round trips?
yes,
Okay.
yep. And we usually even ask them how long they're going to be at a location too. So if we're going shopping, they'll let us know. So they're not there 7 hours. So
Right.
But I mean, you're not gonna sit and wait for people.
no, we will continue to move on. And then when they're finished, they call and we go back and get them. Yep. So,
Might be something that application similar to what Uber uses. I believe it's
It's some kind of
geo tracking, and anyway, it's I'll have to talk to Dan Raymond. He's got a group down there that do some pretty unique programming with applications. In fact, I think they've done some software for the schools.
where's Dan Lehman through?
That'd be Egenuity in Monroe, so they do custom software and they do some applications for, I think they wrote a program for
Like
parents to
kids
put
is
their
lunch
kids up at schools, and it notifies the school
when they're there.
when they're there.
North Adams has that program too, but I'm glad to hear that someone locally is
I think
creating
they
it.
wrote that.
Awesome.
And so I think he's already got the tools to do that, geolocation with an application and everything else. And that may, anyway, it's just a thought, but that might be something that could be incorporated into this whole process.
If you'll bring his contact info tomorrow when we meet,
Sure.
I could reach out to him too.
Very
So,
good.
all right. Thank you.
All right, I think he's looking for things to do right now.
I could keep him busy.
Agnes, would you like to come up?
I don't have the agenda. All right, and I only printed just a couple things right before I went out the door, not knowing if I needed to give you anything.
Well, no, that's all right.
If you've had it from the last time we had. So this is just like, you have the rest of it. You can have the extra one then, because I didn't. My understanding, this is kind of a formality that we weren't aware, as I talked with Stan and didn't know that we needed to come, but certainly glad to be able to come and present. I came in December to the county commissioners, or county, to request funds from the ARPA, which they approved. So this letter basically is what we presented. Julie Marie had asked me to fill out, the request form, which I'm sure you probably have that as well. And this is rewiring and updating all of our departments, our buildings in town. Mike Brown was here to explain why we need this IT upgrade. We have some old wiring. We have wiring that's not consistent what he currently is putting at the county level to do access to police, fire, all of those kinds of things. So Mike explained and answered all those technical questions that I wouldn't be able to answer the way Mike did. But the request was, as you can see, $132,806.34 to do the upgrade that Mike had presented. He came out with a group called Wired out of Fort Wayne. They went through all of our buildings, looked at what we currently have and what they feel the upgrade should be to get us up and running and have good correspondence between the county, whether it's the sheriff's department, dispatch, safety through the fire, all those kinds of things. So this is kind of a process that Mike worked on with everyone in the town, all the departments. And so this was the estimated quote to do those upgrades. It includes a few laptops and docking stations, et cetera, that's listed there, I think, in that first paragraph, to also update some of that.
So even though this is not in a county building, or it's not something that we have specific governance over as your building, I mean, it's still in coordination with Geneva, with the Geneva Police Department, as far as the communications with dispatch, so it's still.
Yeah.
Still
definitely a safety issue, as Dan Mehor was here that day also, and he said it's just really important.
But yeah, as far as the confusion, it was just a matter of coordinating ARPA requests between council and commissioners and who gets to hear it. So that's kind of why we ended up with ARPA requests coming before commissioners and council. So I do appreciate you coming back to explain this and to present this, because this is information that we were not privy to as commissioners. So it's just kind of nice to see the request and have it justified. I don't know what you have thoughts on.
Just a question, Angus. Obviously, Geneva got some ARPA funds too. Your funds wouldn't allow you to do this out of your own ARPA funds?
If you notice, we put on here what's happening with our ARPA funds. That's in the second to last paragraph. Geneva's under an item order to do upgrades to our wastewater department. That order's been in place for a couple of years and we're working on it. But we have Baker Tilly and Joyce Lynn Engineering working on trying to get the state revolving loan, any kind of financial support to add to what we have in our ARPA funds.
Okay.
Being small town, our ARPA funds aren't very many dollars. We got about 305 total. We've used 50. So we have that, as I think it might be listed. Maybe it's not listed on here, it's on one of the sheet. About 253 we're using towards all of the item compliance that we have to get started. We're hoping this year to be able to get the SRF loan. When Baker Tilly did that reporting, unfortunately, they had our median wage a little high, maybe for Geneva. So we didn't hit the first cut for the loan last year. Otherwise, we'd already be in the process of getting the bids and starting construction this year. We're hoping to get there this year. But these funds, plus our depreciation funds and our utilities, will all be utilized. The first phase, there's 3 phases. The first phase is over $2 million. So these funds are basically to cover all the soft cost of all the engineering and all Baker Tilly costs, all of those things.
Very good.
So we're kind of behind.
Okay, understand.
Okay.
And I know Mike has talked to us about the importance of upgrading that IT infrastructure down there so that you your local resources, fire and emergency can communicate effectively with the county. So I'd make a motion to support this request.
Sure, I'll second that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming back in.
No problem. I just didn't know.
So,
I appreciate it. Mike's the one who made us aware. He's going to come tonight to our meeting. And he said it'd be nice if he approached you guys before he came and just discuss with our council what he's proposing here. All right.
all right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Agnes.
Yeah. He has a question, and I have a question for you.
Oh, yes, question.
Yeah, Tom.
Do you have a different?
So this is for the first. But I don't know. But, I don't understand how you get a difference. I don't know.
Something.
Oh, use mine. All right. Tom, did you want to come up? Did you go to your conference already?
I guess, Sue, this is mainly for you, I haven't talked to Sam. But I'm, next week I'm going to be attending a conference called PRIA, it's the Property Records Industry Association. They kind of set out this standard and they kind of give you the best practices on how to record and index and stuff like that. But I've been asked to sit on the guest panel, and that's why I'm going to be speaking for the state of Indiana and Adams County. So, you know,
Congratulations. That's quite a
I think, we'll see. The thing I'm going to speak on is bulk imaging copies. Sam, I don't know if you remember, I think last year we just upped our price, and basically that's what we're talking about. Indiana's had a high, our laws kind of held high standards, and other states are wanting to know how we went about doing it, so that's what I'm reporting on. So I'm going to also be attending other things like you know, you hear those advertising about sealing the deeds. People are still, there's a big break out on that, and a ton to listen to and stuff like that. So I just wanted to let you know, and I'll come back and after the meeting.
Good. Look forward to hearing about your experience there.
Yeah. It was kind of a shock when they asked me, but.
Good. Quite an honor. Thank you. Appreciate you doing that for us.
Let me know when you're picking me up. I'm not listening, while you're doing that.
Let's go through your training.
So, yeah, we had Raptors. He did present an estimate on flood costs.
It's a little cheaper than that, but.
So, I guess we can put ahead and prove that.
But that's coming out of my money, that's not coming out of county's money.
Yeah.
I think anytime we have an opportunity to do that, I think we need to do that. So
So, okay.
certainly that's my support.
But Sam just asked me to come speak to you guys. I had to get his approval, so I get everything booked, and so.
Good deal.
Thanks.
Very good.
That's a good deal.
Easy. Mark, did you have anything?
Yeah, I need to get with Jessica here this week, and this has to do with the county farm. So there is that septic system that we had out at David Meadows has a perimeter drain that goes to the north to the ditch. And so we need to make sure that in our sale bill and notices that we maintain that and make sure that that has to be maintained. And I want to try to find out if we have a print of where it's at, and then have it marked so that any purchaser of that is aware that that's drain is there, and that we need to reserve an easement for that drain so that it doesn't get cut.
So it's not a county drain as such,
It's the perimeter drain for the septic system, and it's going across our property now, but when we sell that property off, it'll be crossing somebody else's property, and we need to reserve an easement for that perimeter drain.
That be on the survey.
Well, it's not on the survey now because, but I think we'll mark it and probably put it on the survey as well as make a change to that easement for access back there. So that's something that we'll need to take care of. So, we don't want to sell that off and then have a problem with that drain and then not have an easement when it goes across property that the county used to own. We need to reserve that now.
You're gonna talk to Jessica?
Mhm. Yeah. Other than that, I had some emails going back and forth with Dave Bumgarner. We're going to talk about fringe or zoning jurisdictions. So that I believe the city of Bern exercises some limited fringe jurisdiction at the present time. I think the city of Geneva is maybe looking at doing the same, and Bern may want to expand or change it. So Dave and I are going to talk about that. I know we did talk to the city of Decatur about it a few years ago. So I'll probably talk to them and see if that's a subject they want to revisit. So basically that has to do with, a city can basically petition the commissioners if they desire to exercise some jurisdiction over zoning beyond their municipal boundaries. And so usually, that type of scenario involves the city saying, well, we would like to regulate, subdivisions and development within a quarter mile of our boundary. And so that's a fairly common thing in zoning, but it's really kind of a give and take between the county and the city, or county and the town that wants to exercise fringe jurisdiction, to see how that all kind of plays out. So maybe I'll be talking with him about that here in the next week or so, and probably see if the city's interested in that as well. What it does is it takes really the zoning in those areas out of the county's hands, and it would take that off the plate of your county zoning, planning and zoning board, and it would add it to the city's responsibilities. But anytime you consider that, you always want to look at, what sort of uses are really close around the city and what sort of impact would that have. And it's just something that we have to really kind of take a look at and see how that would impact both the city and the county, and if it's positive for both to do that. So anyway, we'll be looking at that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. So it would be kind of a discussion opportunity if the city wanted to do that. Where we'd sit down.
Feels like sticky to me, I guess. I would need to be convinced why that makes sense. Why they wouldn't just go to our county planning and zoning and request a change or whatever they would like to have done.
Well,
If they wouldn't have jurisdiction over it, they just annex.
well, that's the question. Why not annex it? But I think it has to do with they sometimes want to exercise zoning jurisdiction because they're not ready to annex it now, but they envision that they will be, and so they would like to at least get that area in a conforming type of development so that when it is annexed, it matches city's development ordinance.
Sure.
Excuse me. Anyway, that's something.
That's kind of a precursor to annexation.
Mhm.
I get it.
And with, all the sewer district projects that we're doing now that are around the city of Decatur and Bern, and that, we anticipate development to really probably occur along those lines. It's probably a good time to revisit that and take a look at it.
Probably another reason to think about revisiting the whole land use ordinance that we've got for our county and how that all has changed over the last 35 years.
Yep. Yep, I know a couple different counties. I know Grange County right now is looking at a big change in their zoning, and it's something to probably look at. So that's it. Okay.
While we're on the report, one of the things that we have done is in the sale of the county farm property on 200 East. We have spoken with several of the auctioneers from within Adams County and spoke with them about the opportunity to sell that ground for us. So after speaking with them, I think we're open to discussion here among us or action if it is appropriate on offering the opportunity to sell that ground. So,
You know, it's interesting, and this is my first time to consider something like this, sitting here as a commissioner versus sitting here as a private citizen. And it's just different things you take into consideration when you're sitting here as representing Adams County as a commissioner versus things that I might consider important or that I might base a decision on as a private citizen hiring an auctioneer. But it was really interesting and I thought educational from my perspective to sit here and listen to in this case, 6 experts in the approach that they would take to market and auction our farm ground. Everything from how they would run the auction to how they would promote it to just a variety of things that they would consider. And I felt like the approach that we took was appropriate. And that we were able to kind of allow those auctioneers to come in and sell their services to us, even though it wasn't based on price, it was based on their ability to basically represent the county and obtain the highest value, the highest auction price for that farm ground. You know, and in the end, I felt like that we were very well blessed with the folks that came before us and were certainly felt like that they were all capable of running a good auction for us and doing a good job of promoting. But, you know, just in sitting here looking at all the presentations, I really felt like that Josh Krukenberg and Krukenberg Auction Realty just did the best job of presenting their services, everything that they would do for us, everything that they would do to promote the auction, how they would orchestrate the auction. Like I said, even though that I felt like we were very well blessed and had a good representation from all the auctioneers that were Adams County-based auctioneers, I just felt like Krukenberg Auction Realty did the best job of selling their services at that particular time and sitting there in these chairs. And so that's my motion.
to offer the opportunity
To Josh Krukenberg, Krukenberg
Is
Auction.
that who you're gonna use? Krukenberg?
That's the motion he's making.
That's my motion.
I'll second that. So,
So you're gonna use Krukenberg?
Right.
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna offer it to them and Mark, do you want to see a little bit of paperwork or how would you like to? Because they did present some paperwork.
Yes. All right, thanks. Yeah. This is the original.
It's personal stash.
No, this should be fine. It was just kind of a matter of what they would give them the day. So, okay.
Line item.
Okay.
Is there anything else that needs to be stated in that? I'm sure the acceptable just to make a motion that's it. No, I think that's fine.
Because we had specified the financial arrangement in our offer letter, so I didn't feel like I needed to rephrase that.
I just wanted to know officially for the minutes, because Mark's looking through it, I didn't know if we were waiting on something else that needed to be added to the motion or
I
what.
think it's just, a motion to engage, after having reviewed proposals from, I think that's on the record, of review proposals from got it here. Several local auction companies that they decided to select, Typically, an auction, a realty, the auctioneer to sell the ground and we'll engage them for their professional services.
Very good.
You too, Jim.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that, and,
Good.
hopefully that'll be a benefit to, county government, so. All right, Shannon?
I'm sitting in here for too long. I just have a couple things. What day is today? Today's Tuesday.
Valentine's Day.
So a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, I sent you guys an email that outlined some different job descriptions, some different full-time positions that we were looking at. You approved part of that for me last week, and the very bottom of that email was in regards to the banked holiday arrangement for the 7 members at the Sheriff's Department and the 4 members at Golden Meadows. So I have all that situated in the timekeeping program. There's no charge associated with it. They've already added everything in for me. So I'm here to ask for your approval to make that policy for those specific positions and those departments effective March 4th. So it'll be for Good Friday. It won't be for this one coming up on Monday.
Did we take action on it at that time?
No.
I'm just kind of trying to pull up that. You're saying those are the only ones that would affect?
Yeah, just the specific positions in the Sheriff's Department and Golden Meadows. Yeah. And I can get you those positions if you want me to.
I'm just kind of looking here real quick.
John 2-2.
Set it on 2-2. Thank you.
I've got 2 attachments.
Yeah, it's just in the body of the email. It's item 3. I wasn't here last week to talk about it, so.
Okay, a few weeks ago. Sure. And I think we had talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it with Sheriff Dan during open office hours, and Mark Blankenship is on board.
And this is applicable, just refreshing my memory here, this is applicable because in these areas where they work, basically they work 24, or they work 3 to 65 days a year, so they may be asked to work on a holiday, that will allow them then to bank that holiday and use it at a later date.
Correct.
Okay. And that's the reason that it works for these particular offices, but not the county as a whole.
Correct.
Got
Yeah, they're 24-hour facilities
Yeah,
So it makes sense, yeah.
make that motion.
Second.
for 3-4.
Yep. You got it, whatever you want. You're the boss.
Don't tell me that. And then the only other thing I have is EMA has asked me to get a cell phone approved for Barb, who's the incoming director. I think John's taken his phone number with him. He's going to return the device, but it's too old to pass on. So he's going to take the phone number, so we need to start fresh. So I'll work with Eric and Barb to get, a phone up and running for
So
her.
he'll port that phone number then over to a private
Yeah.
service, and we just need a new
And
phone.
I've talked to Mike about this. I think we talked about it in steering committee a couple weeks ago, but we need to figure out a scheme for when employees have one phone number that they basically use for all county business. And then when they're ready to leave, we don't want them to continue to get calls based on county business, but we understand they've had the same phone number for 20 years now, and that's their personal phone as well. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to work on something that's just better than having either 2 phones or 1 phone and allowing them to take the number with them. And we'll just have to continue to go down that path. But for the time being, this is the solution.
So you need action then to
Order
add
a cell phone.
another, to
Yeah.
buy another cell phone.
Yes, for Barb.
For Bob. I'll make that motion.
Second.
That's all I have.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Shannon.
Okay. Anything else from general public? All right.
Done, boss. Motion to adjourn?
Second.